It's okay to need to take a break from social media, from watching the news, from being up to date with things. We can find it really overwhelming to be constantly bombarded with news, with updates, with people talking, sharing suffering or anxieties or worries or anger and outrage, whatever it is that's going on. It's okay to need to take breaks from it. You're doing what is healthy. We can hear thousands of people's accounts about what's happening, about people suffering, about injustice. We can have so much information, or possibly misinformation, being delivered to us. Human beings aren't meant to process that volume of information and to be constantly thinking on a global scale. That's just not what human beings adapted to do. So we can find it really overwhelming. And it's important that we take breaks from that. It doesn't make you a bad person, a bad citizen, a bad ally to take breaks. It doesn't mean that you're being willfully ignorant. It doesn't mean that you are lacking in your social responsibility. It just means that you're taking care of yourself, which is everyone's primary duty. Everyone needs to prioritize their own well-being because nobody else is going to do it. You may feel that you have a duty to be socially informed and socially conscious, to be aware of what's happening, to be kept up to date on everything. But that doesn't mean that you have to spend every second of the day chained to your phone or your computer, reading all of the new tweets that come up, constantly watching the news. You don't have to do that. And often that's actually counterproductive because often we get a lot of misinformation that way, or we get incomplete information that we can't really do anything with. We may just feel more anxious about something without actually getting a better sense of what's going on. If there's something major that's going on that has the media in a frenzy that everybody's talking about, it's tempting to get swept up in that, to want to be part of the group, to want to be informed. And often there's a lot of fear-mongering that goes on, particularly by the media, to try and get people to pay attention to everything. But you don't need to. Take some time away from it. That's going to be the best thing for you. Studies have shown that we actually get overwhelmed when we're exposed to too much suffering or injustice, when we're just witnessing so much pain, so much evil, so much fear, so much anxiety in the world. When we're constantly aware of these kinds of issues, it actually lowers our empathy and our compassion. We're overwhelmed by it, and our brain starts to treat it as a threat to us, because it kind of is. And so we may develop a kind of defensive hostility of saying, get away from me, I can't handle this. I can't think about this. It actually stops us from being socially conscious and responsible, from being good allies, from being able to take effective action. We need to have breaks. We need to maintain a sense of self, and we need to look after our well-being. Because we're not going to do anything if we're struggling, if we're feeling so overwhelmed that we can't cope. We are at our best in our ability to help when we have taken proper care of ourselves first. So take a step back. Give yourself some room to recover. Limit the time that you spend on social media or watching the news, and instead do other things. Prioritize your self-care, whatever that looks like for you. Some suggestions are making sure that you're eating properly, not just enough food, but the right kind of nutrition that you actually do need. Make sure that you stay hydrated, drink plenty of water. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep. if you're struggling to sleep, particularly if there's a lot of anxiety, I happen to have some great sleep audios that might help. There's a playlist of them. I'll link it in the description. Spend some time talking with loved ones, particularly loved ones who are more calm and they're not prone to anxiety or panic. Try and spend some time talking about things other than what's going on. You may notice emotions coming up, and it's good to be mindful about them if you can. There's often a lot of emotions happening when there's some kind of major event going on. Anger, fear, frustration, all sorts of other things. It's important to be aware of those feelings and to accept them. You don't have to fight them, you don't have to change them, you don't have to guilt yourself over them, over what you're feeling or what you're not feeling. Just notice them and accept them. They're trying to tell you something. Try and live as normally as possible. Take time out of your day to do nice things, things that make you feel good. Distract yourself with pleasant hobbies and activities, creative pursuits, painting, baking, art, music, whatever it is that you like. You may need some escapism, too. We need some time away from a dangerous, threatening world, a world full of injustice and suffering. Read some books, watch some movies, play some games, whatever it is that you need. And seek comfort from people. Get a hug. Ask someone to tell you it's okay. I happen to have some audios about that too, if you need them. Take time away from the news, and then, at certain points, when you're feeling a bit better and more ready to accept and handle things, then read some news from trusted sources. Look for accurate information, not just chicken little alarmist stuff, not just reading trending hashtags on Twitter. Look for some reliable people who have collected and collated information that is accurate, that is going to tell you what's going on and what you can do about it, if you need to do anything about it. And focus on what you can actually control. What can you personally do to make things better? Don't worry about what other people are or aren't doing. What can you do? That tends to be the thing that makes us feel less overwhelmed. What do I personally have control over? And all of these things you do have control over. You have control over your well-being. You have control over the things that you do. Stepping back from social media, taking care of yourself, spending time with people. Exert control over your life in the ways that you can, and accept that there are going to be parts of life that you cannot control. Try not to stress about that. Take breaks. Take care of yourself. And don't go on social media so much. You'll get through this. It's going to be okay.